Hello, welcome to the first lesson for Paradiddle Flow. Today, we're going to take something that we already know, or at least we should be learning, and that is our basic paradiddles that are already on the rudimental chart. The first one being a single paradiddle. Okay, the next being a double paradiddle. The next being a triple paradiddle. And finally, a paradiddle diddle. So, our first exercise is going to be a combination of all of those rudiments put into one giant phrase. Okay, so I'll recite the rudiment out loud. Paradiddle, 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 diddle, stop. So it's one of each with one repeat. The reason why we're only doing it once is because we don't want to get into a habit of playing a paradiddle 4 times before we have to switch. We want to be able to switch seamlessly in between any paradiddle phrase or combination of that paradiddle phrase. So here it is with the left hand starting. Paradiddle, 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 diddle, stop. Notice when you start on the left hand, you're going to end on the right hand, and vice versa. If you start on the right hand, you're going to end with your left hand. So let's play together a quick exercise, and it's going to be at 60 beats per minute, and you will hear the 8th note on the metronome just to help you keep track of which hand is playing where. Paradiddle, 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 stop. Great. You're already flowing between singles and doubles. Now, as you can see with that exercise, is by limiting each repetition to 1, it forces you to power through and play each paradiddle with each hand starting that paradiddle. So if you haven't practiced the paradiddle off your weaker hand, you're already going to see improvement, because this is going to force you to practice those paradiddles with that weaker hand. So here's that same exercise at 120 beats per minute, just to give you an idea of what it will start to sound like once you increase the tempo. Here's that same exercise, but we are only going to accent the first stroke of each paradiddle. Here's what that would sound like at 60 beats per minute. 1, 2. Here's that same exercise at 120 beats per minute. So again, you can hear what it's going to sound like when it's at a better and faster tempo. I mainly developed this exercise a few years back just to work on one thing in particular, and it was to be able to play all the paradiddles that I already know seamlessly. And then I realized it was working on a number of different things. One was the idea of moving in between all the paradiddles in the rudimental chart freely. Two, I realized that I couldn't play these paradiddles one time before moving on to the next one. So I got into paradiddle combinations, just very basic paradiddle combinations. And three, I realized that by doing these paradiddles, I was strengthening the articulation of my double strokes, and I started to figure out how to make the double strokes sound better when coming out of single strokes, because most times our single strokes are going to be much louder, they're going to be stronger than our double strokes, which is okay, but we want to strive to make both of those even. Thank you for joining me on this first week of Paradiddles Flow, and thank you for joining drummersilike.net. And in our next lesson, we are going to talk about augmentation. This stuff is really fun. It's going to be more of a practical approach on really how to dig in on this concept of combining paradiddles, singles and doubles, and really getting to flow around the drum set. We are really diving into more of a soloing vocabulary and fill vocabulary. It's an extremely practical approach that anyone can pick up at any level, whether you're a beginner or an advanced player. It does not matter. You can start working on this immediately. So again, I thank you, and I will see you for week 2 of Paradiddle Flow, augmenting paradiddles. Thank you.